There's no question that cloud-based production is here to stay even beyond the current crisis. The arguments are just too compelling. Reduction in travel costs, staff being able to contribute remotely, ability to be able to spin up resources as and when you need them and take advantage of the latest advances in computing power. And with the advent of technologies like Grass Valley's virtual keyframe, the quality and sophistication of the video production that can now be achieved is getting very close to rivaling what's possible with an on-premise system. But one problem remains, and that's audio. And as an audio guy myself, I know just how important that is. And traditionally, the only real way of solving that is to use one of these, bringing all the audio down on premise, mixing it, and then sending it back to the cloud again. So what if we could replace this with simply a web browser attached to the cloud? So this is the AMP Audio Mixer. It's something we've been working on for a while now in the AMP team, and it's a true cloud-native, fully integrated microservice that can work as part of any AMP system, and it can interact with audio flows that are coming both from sources within AMP or also external third-party sources, for example NDI being fed into us. And the first thing you'll notice about the user interface is it's pure HTML5, works in a web browser, very responsive, and you will see that it's got video built in. And that's because we wanted to actually make this a bit more of an AV mixer, so it actually has keyframes for all of the sources, so you can see what all of your input sources are easily, and it has your main program output that you see on this, what we call flow monitor here. And this is also how we get the low latency audio back to the user, which they can then feed into an external monitoring system like I've got here. So if I simply fade up some of this music, which I can do just using my mouse, or if I was on a touch screen I could just touch the fader, you can hear that straight away. And if I just pick a different source here, just simply by hovering over the channel with my mouse and then moving my mouse wheel, I can basically move that channel up and down. Now I think it's worth pointing out that
with cloud experience,
you can hear what I'm doing here is immediately coming back to me. Now I'm in the UK and I'm actually controlling an audio mixer that's in Oregon, so I'm doing this halfway around the world and I'm still able to get something that responsive. And you also might have heard that slight noise in the background, and that's these motorized faders, because we recognize that if you're trying to do true audio mixing, you really need a physical hard panel. So we support MIDI panels, so this is a Behringer one I've got here, but will work with any MIDI panel. So as I move the faders here, you can hear it mixing actually on the screen, and you can see the faders moving up and down on the screen. Likewise, if I move the faders on the screen, the motorized fader moves down here as well. And because this is a true cloud-based architecture, you could actually have multiple users interacting with this at the same time. This is not a simple lift and shift or remote desktop session I've got to the cloud. So in terms of features, I've got obviously input gain, I can de-embed audio, I can pick any one of the audio channels from my 16, either mono or stereo. I've got pan, I've got a full EQ, parametric EQ with high and low pass filters that I've got access to here in this central area of the screen that changes when I'm doing that. I've also got compression, again that comes in here, so I've got compression on every one of my channels. And although we actually mix the video and the audio back together again and time align it using AMP's technology for time aligning the audio and the video back together, we recognize that sometimes sources are going to be coming in not time aligned, and so every input channel has up to 1,000 milliseconds of delay that you can dial in and out as and when you need it. We've also got subgroups, so I can assign some channels into subgroups, and again we use color to make it easy to see how those are assigned in. And then I can then assign those subgroup faders to my physical mixer panel if I wanted to. And each of my subgroups also got EQ and compression. I can solo individual channels, I can solo the subgroups. But one of the most powerful features is actually this isn't just one mixer, this is up to 16 mixers, because every one of my output channels can have its own completely independent mix. So I could use that for doing things such as mix minus or auxiliary sends, or I could use it for producing different international mixers for different target audiences. And again, because this has got a built-in AV mux, each of those audio outputs I can assign a different video flow to be associated with it. So what appears back inside the AMP ecosystem is a combined video and audio flow with the correct audio mix with the correct pictures I need for that source. So we think this is only version 1, so lots more features to come, but we think it's a really powerful addition to the AMP ecosystem and really sort of raises the bar in terms of what's possible with cloud-based production. So if you'd like to know more, please check out our website or contact your local GV sales representative.